Hey everyone, it's Kairos. Today I wanted to give you a few tips on how to outplay your opponent by using misdirection and false intent. There's a lot of small things you can do with fog of war and vision control to completely surprise your enemy by showing up in the last place they would expect. If you use these tools correctly, you'll add an element of unpredictability and deception to your gameplay. If you enjoy this video and learn something new, you should subscribe to keep up with new content. For now, let's get into the video. Before we can get into the tips, first we need to talk about how to read intent. Reading intent is looking at a champion's movement or body language to predict what they're going to do next. One example is a top laner crashing a wave and then leaving. You can read intent based on which way the champion walks. If they head back towards their own turret, they're probably looking for a reset. If they move towards tribush, then they're probably invading the enemy jungle or getting a deep ward. Another example is if the jungler comes and they have a successful game, and then they walk back towards their own jungle, they're probably just going to go farm. But if they walk towards river, they're most likely going to invade or take an objective, maybe scuttle crab. And then for bot lane, I tried to come up with an example, but no matter what, we all know the ADC is going to stay and greed for another wave, and the Bard is just going to follow the yellow brick road into the enemy fountain for more meeps, because scaling. So maybe we won't use bot lane as an example. But these are the basics of how we use intent to make assumptions about where the enemy is going and what they're going to do next. Now that we understand intent, we can figure out how to use vision to mislead our opponents and give them a false impression of where we're going next. There are two opportunities that you'll have to give false intent. The first is after interacting with a lane and then leaving, and the second one is after clearing a ward. So first off, false intent when leaving a lane is fairly straightforward, and there's a few ways that you can do it. First, you can start channeling a recall as the last minion dies, and then they'll think that you finished your recall. But as soon as the minion dies, you'll disappear into fog of war and you can cancel your recall and go make another play on the map. Also, as a jungler or anyone else ganking the lane, you can creatively exit the lane to make it impossible for the enemy to guess where you're pathing. A few examples. First off, you can exit directly back towards the turret so that they don't know which side you're going to, and then you could go either to the top or bottom half of the map. Also, you could exit towards the enemy jungle and then go back to your camps or to an objective. So this creates artificial pressure on the jungler. If you have priority in both adjacent lanes, they're going to be afraid to go into that side of the jungle for fear of being collapsed on or for getting picked. And so you might be able to force them out of the jungle or force them off a camp that they're in the middle of clearing. And then third, you could exit in the opposite direction from where you want to end up and then loop back around in fog of war. So this will give everybody on the map the impression that you are going onto a certain side of the map. Say you're going into top lane, then the bot lane is going to think that they're safe for the time being, and top lane is going to play more back. But then when you loop back around, they'll have no idea where you path to, and you can catch them by surprise. The second scenario where you can give false intent is after clearing a ward. There are a lot of unique interactions with vision, so I hopped into a custom game with my friend Bequipped to test things out and save you a lot of time. So clearing a ward that isn't disabled won't reveal the person who's destroying it. Just like with dying minions, you'll immediately disappear into fog of war. But attacking a ward that is disabled will reveal a cone of vision around the ward and around the person who attacked it for 5 seconds. And these cones don't move after they appear, they're stagnant. The other scenario where the enemy will get residual vision is when you're clearing a pink ward that is disabling a nearby ward. You can use the same techniques that we mentioned earlier to show false intent when you know the enemy has residual vision. You can exit the cone in one direction, wait 5 seconds, and then return back through the way that you came to catch the enemy off guard. And that's all I have for this video. I hope that this was helpful and gave you a new tool to incorporate into your game to throw off your enemies and make your presence known all over the map. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and I'll see you all next time.
The boy I am.